Okay, I'm gonna read some stuff I wrote. Apologies if you've heard this already, read this already. Average male artist of top 100 artists is 5'11". Average man tyrant height is 5'8". And average male is 3.6 centimeters taller than average tyrant. And if you try to get these statistics yourself, the way I got them is I said to ChatGPT, give me the list of the top 100 most evil people of all time and their heights and an average of their heights, but only take the countries that they're from to average their height against the countries that they're from. And so, why are artists taller? Average man tyrant height is 5'8". Average male 3.6 centimeters taller than average tyrant. Why are artists taller? Because they're selected for their tallness. Why? Because people think it is glamorous. What is most valuable experience in every culture? Sex. Does height matter? No. Who does not know that? Boomers. What happens when a boomer feels slighted? They blow up the world. Boomers give short guys a bad name, just like gang stalkers give cops a bad name. And women give them all a bad name because a short guy has done nothing wrong. He might as well be a TI. And who is making him guilty for being short? Women. And why? Could you imagine as a man saying you don't like a short woman? For every man who says it, there will be 99 women who say it. No man, I mean, I think maybe, I don't know, but you get the point. No man would ever be so absurd. Or would they? Let me ask ChatGPT the average height of female artists. Top 100 female artists, 5'5" average, but the average female in their countries is 5'4". So we can select men for their tallness more than we can select women for their tallness. Why? Because women want the wedding and not the marriage, and it's all a show to compete with each other. Because they're jealous and they use men's height as a status symbol. Why would they do that? Do they brand men too, like circumcising? Is that a hot iron branding? Like they own us, like we're property? Why make an arbitrary thing relevant? And if your point was to do a psyop, would you use an arbitrary thing so it hides in plain sight? And that's kind of what tyrants do. They're like, oh, let's just get the Jews. Let's just get the short guys. Anything arbitrary so they can punish an entire civilization. Who is doing this psyop? Women are retards. They can't think of that. So, how to get them to hate men so that men start war? Is it men themselves who get women to hate them? And if so, which men? And how many men can be so bad to them before they hate all men? A few or just one? After the very first one betrays, they never trust again because cheating is what a normie does and it goes both ways. And normies have to cheat. I don't know what I'm talking about here. And normies have to cheat because they don't understand contagions don't exist and that monogamy is psychopathic and fascist and their boomer brains don't get it. So it's Rockefeller, world's first. Okay, you know what? I was writing this as a continuation of something else I wrote, which I don't even want to go into. This sucks. This is boring. This is utterly. Oh well, you know. Oh well, it's boring. Who cares? Uh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, it makes sense because cheating is what a normie does. And it goes both ways. And normies have to cheat because they don't understand contagions don't exist. And normies have to cheat because they don't understand contagions don't exist. And that monogamy is psychopathic and fascist. And their boomer brains don't get it. So, and I know that a lot of people, probably everyone who's watching this, maybe doesn't understand what I'm talking about here, but that's okay. The rest of it will be, um, you know, I'm so upset right now. I honestly can't even. I almost can't even read this. It's just not that this is upsetting me. It's that I'm upset about something else. That's nothing in particular. Like there's nothing wrong. I'm not being cryptic. There's really nothing wrong. I'm just really upset just with general life. So, anyways, yeah, they can't. Women, 'cause cheating is what a normie does, and it goes both ways. And normies have to cheat because they don't understand contagions don't exist. So it's Rockefeller, the world's first billionaire, because he's the one who invented the virus myth. Basically, he's the one who like produced. He's the one who like made it popular with his money. Not that he like literally came up with the idea. Or marriage was around longer. Yes, you could say that marriage was before Rockefeller. So what do you trace that back to? Why do you go back to when? Why would anything answering this be there? Why are boomers always killing artists while normies watch and masturbate? Because an artist is the closest thing to a mystic. Why? Because only after sexual fulfillment can you be spiritual. But why the woman choose the tall people to begin with? And did they choose them, or were those women just like men and they couldn't get them because they were doing art? And I'm saying the artist is like the mystic or the enlightened person or the TI basically, like the good guy. And they were or but basically but just being a TI doesn't make you uh, an artist. Maybe it does. And we're mad about it. And they said, fine, we will take revenge and punish all men, just like Hitler. We will choose something arbitrary. Anyone Jew, anyone short, we will kill in the feminine way. We will gang stalk them to death alongside Hitler gassing them. What is a girl's night out other than doxing and entrapment setups? But what kind of man enjoys doing art? Yeah, I know Hitler did, but he didn't enjoy it. He was not a vegetarian either. I knew right away when I heard he was that it was a lie because I know he is not wise enough to know that vegan food actually tastes best. And he is therefore going to like flesh, and he isn't the personality that would care about hurting animals. Only a man who has had his sex needs met. What kind of man is that? Someone who won. There was a risk, something at stake, and reward, something valuable like money that people want that he won. Something that you have to hide because people covet it. Something that comes with enemies just by having it. But it wasn't his woman he had to hide, it was his dimensional expansion. And what happened to his woman? She had the same expansion. And so, what did the boomer men and women do who never had that expansion? Of course, you can see the women gang stalk and the men go to war to set up the muscles so gang stalking works, to set up the legalities, to write the laws to make it work. It's a joint effort between the boomer men and women to kill anyone who is alive. But how, and a boomer is just someone who's retarded. It's a boomer just means complex dementia. It doesn't mean your age. It just so happens that the people who are most evil in the world right now are about boomers, I'd say. And so how do the artists find each other? If aliveness is a result of sex, then how do they know how to know each other were the right people who would make them alive? So I'm basically saying, well, you get it. Were they dead inside before, like boomers? A boomer can't see light. So what did they risk? Did they risk? How do you know they risked? I know you. I know you know. But how do you know? Sex can be paid for too. How did you know that that wasn't the kind of sex? Can we agree that paid for sex is less valuable and more ugly, and free sex is more beautiful and good? If you sleep with someone you don't love, is that the same as paying? What if you sleep with someone you love second best? If you sleep with someone you don't like very much, but you're tired of waiting for someone or looking for someone else, does that mean you're weak and you gave up and you took the easy way and that made you average and you couldn't stand your best wasn't as good as someone else's? Or did it make you less than average and even average people are above you? And if you're a war criminal, average people are above you. So it comes down to boomers are short and jealous, and that's why the world is hell. No, it's because of jealousy. But what is jealousy because of? Being lazy and a slouch? Well, what is that because of? Their bodily chemistry and their upbringing? No. How did the artists find each other? Um, what is the magnet between them? And what is the thing the artists have in common that they don't share with boomers? The invisible connection artists share that is not felt by the boomers. And boomer means gang stalker. And it is not felt by the boomers, or is it ignored, like not picking up the phone in that Ethan Hawke horror movie where he wears the mask? That without it, you're secular and political, and that when you find it in yourself, you find it in others to the same extent. That's right, it's God. Took long enough to get to the point, huh? But just saying God is great, praise Jesus is too corny. So you had to work for it. But seriously, you know God? If you say yes, I'd like to know his address. And if you can't tell me, I will say that you're imagining. And I know you can't tell me his address, and the word God means nothing. And your life proves that if the thing you're describing as God exists, you have not found it. And that is harsh. Let us take God as a hypothesis. What is God? Can we ask the same question by saying, what is life? That way, it includes as wide an audience as possible, and many God people will be satisfied by calling God life. So, what is life? Have you found life? And have you searched for life and wondered if it exists? Have you been born with life or without it? Or with it but you lost it? Are you broken? Are you lost from the start? Has anything ever changed with you? Or have you always been the same? Can you say you used to be half alive and now you are mostly alive? Has anything ever happened to you of real significance that now you're found and you see finally? Or is there a weird sense of ambiguous failure to everything that you do? That they shouldn't see you between the sidelines. Some of your faces should be hidden. Some of your thoughts would be too weird for anyone to know, even a single person. And you'd be ashamed if they knew, and that even you are ashamed of it, that you keep secret from yourself, that you feel guilty for, and forgot those thoughts right after punishing yourself for having them. Is that an alive person? What about someone who never feels guilt or shame and is a total psychopath? Are they alive? So empaths are a mess and have weird self-esteem issues, and psychopaths are a mess and have grandiose issues, and they're on either side of a ditch. So where's the middle point? Is balance the discovery of God? Is God just balance and not metaphysical at all? Or is balance metaphysical, that as you refine your balance, it reaches higher levels of yourself and reveals higher levels of yourself? What is balance? Diet, meditation, risk taking, a noble cause, and a relaxing day after work? Only 2 beers, prayer, love? And what are any of those things? You can spend years defining those, and none of them will ever be a complete definition. You can't find 2 people who agree what meditation is, or love, or virtue, or relaxing. So, what do you mean by balance? No matter what word you use, it is subjective to you, and it can't translate. So, how do you tell a boomer the thing they're missing? Well, this is where I really shine, because the normal answer is you don't. You just be with others who get you, and you hope that the boomers die off. And you keep running from them like in The Matrix and their Agent Smith. But I will give the real answer and will warn that I knew how to do this for years and then lost the ability to for years and then got the ability back. And for the years I'd lost it, I knew this exact description I'm about to give, but I still couldn't get it. But it was due to someone else's description that I got it in the first place, which is basically the description I'm about to give you. And at one point, I was a boomer. I was never a gang stalker, but I was a boomer briefly. And I know I'm saying boomers are gang stalkers. Um, so I do kind of mean those interchangeably. Every gang stalker is a boomer, but not every boomer is a gang stalker. Okay, that's what I mean. And so, or unless the gang stalker is not responsible for some reason. And so, but anyone who thinks gang stalking is good is a boomer. That's what I mean. Okay, so, and for the years I lost, but I still couldn't get it. And at one point, I was a boomer briefly. Okay, so here's what to do: force your energy to go up, make it go up your dick, up your body, and out your head. And that's it. Where you are so out of your body, repressed, you don't even know your energy is flowing down. It would be very significant for you to even realize that. When people are traumatized, they see themselves as if outside their body. You see yourself like that all the time. You don't even feel inside your body. It's like you feel the imagination of yourself that you envision in front of you. The energy does flow up on its own, but for you, you need blunt force. Eventually, you don't, but for now, you do. And you can do it when nobody will know on the train while walking. Nobody has to know that I'm your master. Bader for jokes incoming. Once it rises on its own, you don't have to do anything, and just not interfering, it gets more intense. The higher you go, the more awesome you become. It is scary when you know boomers are everywhere and they're hunting souls. If a boomer catches sight that you know God, they will freak. If you fuck a boomer and then don't go to their level, they will kill you. It is like joining gang stalking and then quitting. I heard a guy who had sex with a couple hundred girls say if you don't react to a woman's shit, she will up the ante and kill you. Socrates' wife would dump boiling water on his head because she couldn't make him react. When artists date boomers, there is this dynamic. I've learned not to associate boomers. Yeah, I love a lot of boomers too, okay? Sometimes when I have no one, it's only boomers. You know, it is what it is. What keeps me alive is the other artists. And that's, you know, painful because I wish I could have more friends in person. Some of you, I would be upset and negative attitude if I thought you didn't like me. I am wanting to thank you for how happy I am. And if you're a gang stalker, I could consider you an artist under certain circumstances. And it makes me happy that I feel like this. So that when you don't like me, everything sucks. And I want the whole world, or just you and whoever you love, who I would assume also doesn't love me if you don't, to burn. And then I realized I read your signal wrong, and I was so relieved. And, well, yeah, I guess that's precious. Yeah, it is. It is very precious. And so, do you get what that even means? I don't want to be enlightened without you. I'd rather be a retard boomer if you are. I'd go back to being a boomer if you did. On that level, I'd become an artist again. I'd go from a boomer to an artist, knowing we are linked via the spirit. And anything one of us feels, the other feels. It turns out I misread, and becoming unenlightened is impossible. But when I thought it wasn't, I was immediately going back for you. Going back means hating you because hate is the closest thing a boomer has to love. And what if you don't want to come back? Am I going to stick around being a boomer? Because, and this is when I thought that someone didn't like me, and then I realized I had misread it, and then I was like, you know, so happy about it. Going back means hating you because hate is the closest thing a boomer has to love. And what if you don't want to come back? Am I going to stick around being a boomer? Because this is not the situation with you, but it is with many. You know, you never became a boomer, the person I'm referring to, or actually the people I'm referring to. And outgrowing your boomer is real. Sometimes you have to outgrow your boomer. Some boomers don't want to paint, and they still want you to be a boomer. They get good at converting you. You do your art, and they boom it up. And they are refined at destroying your soul. And you see they have some power over you, and they can catch you off guard, and you can feel powerless. That you have to even avoid them. And If you were a real artist, you wouldn't regress, but you feel like you would regress, so you feel embarrassed. And your boomer is retarded, so you love them like a baby. Does your boomer respect your art? Are they fair friend, supporting your art as much as destroying your soul? How is their ratio? That is what I love most about you. For me to hate you, I need to confuse you with someone else, that I really can never hate you. I can only love you more and more because I'm only getting more and more close to God. And that is how I know you. Or in non cheesy terms, I only feel good when you are attaining to your own enlightenment because you are my life. And for me to be happy, you need to be happy. And your ultimate goal is to be enlightened and or close to God and or self-actualized and or a plain old good person, self-satisfied, happy with the rewards of your best efforts. And doesn't it sound bad to say that if you don't like me, it means you're not attaining to your own success? But who am I? Why are you reading this? And one more thing, because I know you've wondered. Edit, I lied. I wiped out saying that. I wondered for a long time. How is it possible to regress to a boomerhood from artist? But also, you can't become unenlightened. It is like your highest score on Tony Hawk. I'm explaining how you can become unenlightened, but it's also true that once you're enlightened, you can't become unenlightened. So, how does that work? What's up with that? It is like your highest score on Tony Hawk. That is how enlightened you are, and you've earned it. So, if you want to score that high again or a bit higher, you can, but sometimes you can score low or wipe out. But unlike a boomer, when you try again, your level you'll reach will be about your highest score. A boomer hits pause and just waits at the screen menu, and that's their whole life. They don't even know there is a score. They literally go in the options menu and just scroll through it and change things back and forth. And because there is no way to tell them how to hit on pause, they think that's what the video game is. And when you're both talking about it, they're like, yeah, great game. And they have that tired sense of ambiguous failure. And they might not even know why. And they might not even recognize that you don't have that same sense of ambiguous failure, or that anybody does, or that anybody doesn't have it. I mean, well, what about getting stuck in the pause menu after you're an artist and regressing back to that ambiguous sense of failure? Yes, that happened. And it happened to Bodhidharma after he got poisoned. And after that, he stopped being enlightened. Was he just brain dead? No. This made Osho cry. He knew he became unenlightened by his writing. In brackets, in case you're wondering how Osho knew that when Bodhidharma was alive, long before Osho. As far as I know, he only might have recovered, and if he didn't, it would be sadder than anything. I've regressed to a boomer for a long time, but I remembered there was something else, and that kept me searching. And finally, through cognitive therapy, I removed the things that had me hypnotized in the menu, the things in my mind, not in the menu. And then the upwards flow was easy again. Bodhidharma must have been really dumbfounded by being poisoned, especially if went all the way back to the pause menu from it. The pause menu is below the starting point. It is beneath animality. When your mental hang-ups are more important to you than unpausing, that's when you're stuck, and your meditation is irrelevant then. Your upwards flowing spirituality, it doesn't exist then. Meditation is only for the rich. Your relationships need to be tight. Your swag needs to be on point. You have to own yourself. Then the flow is easy. I tried doing kickflips in the pause menu for years, remembering I used to be able to actually do them. The soul is the video game disc. Boomers have souls they just can't access. My cognitive therapy, shrooms, was done when I had no more unwanted thoughts. All my thoughts are wanted now, no matter how sick and taboo. Nothing disturbs, nothing sticks. And so, and nothing is so beautiful that it sticks either. The only thing that is always with me is The light of you and the light of me, and they combine. It makes me laugh that God must have humor, that he makes fire burn upwards, and fire is light. Our lights are combined into one flame. Together is more, and yet we have our own light. We are not needing each other. We are not playing each other's character. We are at the same score multiplayer. If multiplayer didn't exist, we still would have bought the game. Our scores are the same, but we score different amounts because our scores combine. So if you score a bit and I score a lot, we share the same total score. If you score less than me, I feel good to be punching down, and aren't I Jesus Christ? It validates me like nothing else and hits the spot. If you score higher than me, I worship you and wonder how you do it. And we outscore each other many times, and that is love and intimacy and friendship. A normie is unaware of their own energy, like a boomer, but a normie is not stuck in the pause menu. So a normie can't play unless they are someone else's character. When a normie meets an enlightened, a normie energy starts flowing up. The normie isn't aware when their energy flows up or down, but they like it when it flows up. They don't even know what's happening. A normie can be talked to. You can tell them you gotta move. And of course, their responsibility is nothing. But when you're gone, they will remember you told them you gotta move. They will have been moving while playing your character. Then, when they go back to not having your light, back to their own blindness, they grope in the dark to find how they were doing it when they were you, or when they were auto enlightened, which is non personal, when they were in your light. How did you get your light? The normie will need to find out so that how can they get their own light? And once they do, then they join multiplayer mode. So a normie becomes a real person when their energy moves up. And there are two kinds of real people, solo players and multiplayers. I found multiplayer about a week after becoming a real person. I don't know if that's, that's roughly true, I guess. But yeah, that's roughly true. And I'll never not be on multiplayer. I can afford that. Most enlightened people consider multiplayer a higher, more richer enlightenment. I've lost my enlightenment for years. Getting it back showed me how. I've learned how to get it back. And I only lost it for the first time by getting betrayed. I can afford multiplayer online subscription. It is far richer. I was betrayed by God. God hides his seed of the devil. I have played my entire life on single player. Had he not sent the devil after me, I would have played my entire life on single player. I call it luck. You actually can't be forgiven if you're enlightened and don't play on multiplayer because the normies don't have a chance without you. I've met evil enlightened people and it totally messed up my head. But they're all on single player, and being good on single player isn't possible. But it's not the same as, and maybe they're on multiplayer too. I don't even know. I really don't know. I'm wondering that right now. But at least I know one who was on single player, and I know a bunch of them who are on single player. But I'm just thinking right now, maybe there's some on multiplayer. But it's difficult, because if you don't trust yourself, how could you trust someone else? And how can you not go to multiplayer unless it's that you don't trust yourself? Because the only reason you wouldn't go to multiplayer is because it's more ostentatious and loud and people are going to see. Um, mm, I have played my entire life on single player. I would have. You actually can't be forgiven if you don't, because the normies, evil enlightened people, but they're all and being good on single player isn't possible, but it's not the same as being evil on it. Oh, I don't know what that means. Neutral is the best you could be on single player, and that is so lopsided. It is like having unlimited money and nothing to share with anyone. The solo players who are neutral, they say our love is just ego, just another desire, and just more folly. And so is our need to wake up the normies. Who are we to say that? And sometimes we say we have more fire, but the quality of the fire is the same. And why do you need more? You want the whole planet, the whole galaxy. One flame is enough. Why add more? The goal is reached. Yeah, okay, you're enlightened, but you need cognitive therapy, seriously, because otherwise you're not even getting the best of it. Every once in a while, I'm the last one up playing, and just by accident, I'm on single player mode, but my score still stays accumulative with the people on my multiplayer network who I'm still carrying. They're a part of me now, and even solo mode then is brighter, more crisp, like deep fried fries instead of oven. So I could be single player too. I could be either one. Why not have both? That is my revenge on you that you don't have both, especially if you got your enlightenment from me when you were a normie and then kept it as an evil person and poisoned me and made me lose my enlightenment. And now I got it back on multiplayer mode, and I know you're stuck on single player. All single players know if you switch to multiplayer, the boomers will notice. And had I known the pain of losing it and becoming a boomer, I may have stuck on single player mode. I never believed the boomers are actually retarded. I thought they were just acting, but I found out. And then we got, you know, another one up here. So my gangstalker dad hacked a nuclear power plant and got his computer seized by the RCMP and almost got charged with treason. He is 184 IQ billionaire. His mother-in-law is a Supreme Court judge. His dad is as or more powerful. I think they are all able to punish other gang stalkers locally if they do something that they disapprove of. I wonder if there are multiple families now targeted in my area who aren't aware of it yet. If the gangstalker families are now targeted, or if my dad's side of the family is totally approving of all things gang stalking, I don't know. I'll probably never talk to him again. I still love him. I'm proud he's my dad. The reason I know why he hacked a nuclear power plant is because I was asking why there are stickers all over his computer that say RCMP on them. Like, he doesn't just brag like I do. I stopped talking to him after I got the sense he was pretending to be an adult. I started gagging at disgust in disgust at him because you can't argue with someone who has 184 IQ. So you just have to throw up at them when you disapprove. And he said, want to get knocked out. And I saw him change. I saw him talk in a different voice when he was mad. It was in front of his girlfriend. I soul gazed him at that time. He said not to do that, not to soul gaze people in general because I would become addicted to the power of it. And I said, okay, I will soul gaze you and see what happens. In front of his girlfriend, I saw him regress to a state almost like he didn't fully pronounce his words. I said, I know I got you. You don't know what just happened, but your Mensa girlfriend does. And I just saved her from you. I just showed her what you are. If he is reading, this is why you lost her because of me. And it was after you were mad and trying to recover. That's when you went into regressed mode. Your true face was that. By her condescending you, she was saying you're abusive. And I said to her in response, let me show you the face you're talking about because I know you're struggling with it. Her being condescending to you in front of me was her saying, I think he's bad. What do you think? And I said, let's find out. Nobody other than me had the skill to do that. And of course, I'm angry. You are a gang stalker. And thankful you never recruited me. I still love you and am relieved someone of your understanding exists. I hope you are proud of me. But if you're not, I don't care. If you're not, I don't approve of you. But I always love you. And if you approve of gang stalking, that is mentally sick and you are mental retard. The words were pronounced, but they were different. It's hard to explain, like you were different. You were someone else all of a sudden, as if your voice changed. As you know, what I saw when I was soul gazing you was it was like a regressed state, as if you were compensating or reaching, as if you were, and it was like, well, anyways, as if you were compensating or reaching. Yeah, it looked like you were like 5, and that looked like your true mental age. And like, yeah, I'm gonna get you. Like someone from the Bronx. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get you. Like it was literally like that became your true face and your true self. Uh, and as if you were compensating or reaching, as if you're reaching super, super hard, that someone like you, as present as yourself, would never reach that hard. I can also regress to the age of 5, but I'm not pretending to be smart. And your IQ is not what I mean. I am not pretending to be someone who doesn't regress to a state of retardation. You are saying you've not been embarrassed in 20 years and you don't regress, as if the biggest regression you've had is a bit of jealousy just for a split second before catching it. And here you are getting angry and then being needy after, and your girlfriend is like, "What the fuck is this?" She might as well be dating me, and that is a huge insult. I'm an adult baby, but I can recognize other adult babies too. We all are. And she was mad you defrauded her. I'll bet you, uh, I'll bet you didn't even regrow your dick skin. Well, I'd prefer to say, did you regrow your dick skin? I don't want to be negative and just, But anyways, um, but yeah, why wouldn't you? That'd be fucking insane not to do that. But you could have kept her if you just, you could have kept her if you just acted like a baby and didn't hide it. She was a gang stalker too. She had no morals too, or loose morals. She just didn't want to feel lonely around you. And finally, I felt lonely around you too. And like I was just a fraud. Like you didn't even get me. And like, I'm a fraud. Like I shouldn't be here. Like, I don't feel connection anymore. And I felt helpless and I felt guilty. And I wonder now, was she even a TI? Because that'd be nuts. But if she was, you treated us like real people. I've literally thought of you and thought it's been years since I felt your love and said nothing bad. And even the first time ever, I felt plainly loved by you. And of course, I wanted to exploit you in every way, get all your secret, get all your secrets and all your power. I never knew your literal power, but all your brilliance. I think we are really lovely friends. It ended due to gang stalking. Isn't that the truth? Because I would not have been so on edge and testy had I not been being gang stalked. And it wasn't you gang stalking that made me snap. It was getting uppercutted in the nose and stuff like that. What if I became your son just to ruin your image? Did you ever think of that? And that proves I really love you. That if who I wanted to ruin your image to was just you and your girlfriend because I hate pimps. And what made you a pimp was not being a manager, it was pretending you're enlightened. And on that channel, I was your dad and always am, son. Son, being a gang stalker is wrong, but if you're stuck in it, I don't know what to say. Here's to you, kid. Your girlfriend wants to feel more enlightened than you sometimes because she is. And otherwise, good job. And don't get hung up on the word enlightened. It's not. It's not that. It's the whole air of authority. You never had need to have said the word enlightened for me to arrive at this conclusion. If your girlfriend condescended you in front of me, had you had not already pissed me off by not paying back any money, or not all of it, or on time, and uh, you know which in hindsight I'm glad, obviously. I'd have, or maybe not, but I am. I'd have hated her instantly. And for anyone who says, why would a billionaire need money? Because who wants to ask for money from their dad? I'm in the same boat. It is beneath humanity to ask. So, really, his dad is a billionaire. And it is the same sort of societal privileges. If you don't like police chief, no problem. I guess he is not a billionaire because he is always broke and money for free comes with strings. Well, if your grandfather was a billionaire and your dad didn't accept money from him, would you say your dad is a billionaire? Like, are you going to throw me under the bus and say I'm a liar? Like, I'm trying so hard to brag? Isn't that close enough association? Shouldn't I get to brag this? I'm not going to get any money anyways, so at least let me brag about my dad's money. Nothing of his quality, though. Haha, joking. Well, he is funny. Max dark humor and Max funny. Like we were walking by guys asking for donations for gay rights, and he said he is surprised that they didn't take the seats off their bike posts. The guys laughed a lot and were very subservient. and they obviously wanted to hit him. I couldn't believe he said that. Oh my god, he made me laugh so much. He would cover his ears and duck his head for cover when people who looked like religious from Middle East would walk by. And when I made water gun on floor at store, he said not to because it is safety hazard. So his humor was based. And of course, I was abandoned by my bio dad and raised by a single mom, gang stalked. I felt abandoned a lot, a small nobody person, and he treated me like I am a real person in society. He really gave me that and taught me how to argue and reason. Anyways, people who believe in race and religion are retards, but discriminating against them because they're retarded is actually racist, and he never did that. He was against racism. So subtly so the subtlety was helping in making me mature, that I could understand. If that religious person was getting mugged, nobody would help her except for him. Maybe I would, I don't know. I don't trust anything. If someone was getting mugged near me, I think I would think it is just gang stalker role players trying to set me up. If you're a gang stalker, you need to be Batman to make up for being a war criminal. So who knows? In fact, that is why he lost his girlfriend. That is the point of his authority. It is compensation for gang stalking. And he doesn't approve of gang stalking. I know because I know the air of his authority is too heavy. He is trying to be ultimate authority to make up for being a gang stalker. And he sacrificed even his girlfriend for that to help victims. Really, he is the best. I couldn't want a better dad, and it is good he is a gang stalker because it showed me the ways of the world. I think the most alpha person in my mom's side of the family is a gang stalker, too. The person who I care the most if they respect me. And even though they left me for dead, um, and I'm talking about my whole family here. Um, and even though they left me for dead, they raised me smart enough to figure it out. And I did. This is horrifying world. And they did the best they could, and they got a good, perfect score. My dad knew people were coming to kill me, and he did not warn me, but he taught me karate, and then I survived like Arya Stark, and I was nobody, and I loved him again. And so that's nice. I'm feeling kind of lonely tonight, but that's kind of nice. The loneliness is, you're talking into a camera and there's nobody watching, right? That's what the loneliness is. There's nobody watching except for people who want to kill you, right? Yeah, that's a little bit negative. Okay, I'm gonna say that's not true. I it's more just like I'm just wishing I don't even know. Okay, I don't even know. I'm just feeling sad tonight. I really don't know what to say. And so basically, if your dad acts like RoboCop, it means he's doing something really illegal that he's rationalizing to make himself believe that it's good. And his RoboCop hood is the compensation, or he's not rationalizing, or he's not rationalizing, and he's doing something really illegal, and he hates doing it, and he acts like RoboCop to make up for it. And so right now, I'm gonna listen to like another Ti or another guy who I think is a Ti who doesn't know it, and but it has nothing to do with them being TIs really. They could talk. They don't even need to talk about gang stalking. It's just this one guy he makes like robot machines and stuff. Like that might just be interesting. Like just seeing someone cool make a robot, that might be fun. But I'm definitely feeling sad today.